The following Cottle's Corner Lacrosse podcast was recorded on May 13th. For more Cottle's Corner and Bayhawks Lacrosse, log on to thebayhawks.com. And for Bayhawks ticket information, call 866-99-HAWKS. That's 866-99-HAWKS.
I'm with Dave Cottle, head coach of the Chesapeake Bayhawks. They win again 3-0 after their 14-5 win in Annapolis on Saturday over the Ohio Machine. Being the defending champs, starting off 3-0, you guys probably pretty confident right now, aren't you?
Well, we played a little better in Game 3 than we did in 1 and 2, and I thought we were very unselfish. We shared the ball, and we have a lot of weapons and some really good players, and when we're unselfish and share the ball, then good things happen.
You've given up just a few goals now in the last 2 games. I think 8 goals total in the past 2. What's been the best? What's been the key to your defense?
Well, I think the addition of Jeff Reynolds coming back from the indoor league, along with Danny Burns, who we acquired via trade, and Matt Abbott, who's been fantastic as shorties. Our shorty unit, has been outstanding, along with Barney Ehrman, has really solidified our defense, and we're not getting run by a lot of middies, and it's allowing us to play our men and not have to slide and help out, and it's really helped us.
Ben Rubior, 4 goals and an assist, has 1 point in 32 consecutive games. Are you surprised by his hot start, or is this something that you expected?
Well, no. Benny had 6 in the semifinal game last year.
Right.
And one thing that makes our team pretty special is we have a group of guys that can get 5 goals at any time. And right now, with Junior Grant back and Drew Westerveld, they're just finding they keep seeing Ben open, and they're very unselfish passers. And Benny's doing a great job of moving around without the ball, and they're finding him, and he's finishing his opportunities.
The game I saw, Dave, was shortened to 3 quarters due to the lightning. Now, you had a big lead, probably wasn't impactful with respect to the final score, but how does that? What does that do when you don't get in a full game? Is that an issue, or you just move on? I
think you just move on. They asked each coach what they thought, and we were ahead. So obviously, I talked to Coach Carver and the referee. I said, "Listen, it's unfair for me to make a decision. You guys got to weigh in on it." And they chose not to continue. So it was kind of a referee's call, and it was probably the right decision.
Now you play this Saturday, your first true road game of the season at Boston. Is that done intentionally with the Preakness in town? Do they want to move you out with the Preakness there, or is it just coincidence?
I think it's a coincidence,
okay.
But I will say that probably getting out of town is probably the right thing to do. And
yeah.
Boston's a tough place to play, Harvard Stadium, and they've got a great following there. And they have Ryan Boyle and Paul Rabel, who are Baltimore guys that are their best players in attack at midfield, and it's going to be an extremely tough game. They started off 0-3, and their backs are against the walls, and we better make sure we bring our A game going up to Boston.
Through 3 games, do you have a sense about this team yet? Could it be a better team than the team last year?
Well, I do think we're better right now than we were at the beginning of last year. I think we're a little more solid defensively. We didn't pick up Nicky Polanco till after 3 or 4 games. Danny Burns has been a good addition. They played together for about 12 or 13 games. They're starting to be able to get comfortable with Kip Turner in the goal. So I'd say right now we're ahead of where we were last year at the beginning, but last year's team kept working and kept improving and got really good at the end of the year.
I guess when you're defending champion, you can't, even if you feel deep down that this team is better, that's not something you necessarily want to indicate. You want them to continue to behave and play and work as if they've not won anything, right? Because in football and in other sports, you always hear coaches talk about every year's a new year. Forget what happened. Is it the same for you?
Absolutely. We're not defending a championship. We're chasing one. And the 2012 team proved they were a pretty good team. Now it's time for the 2013 to kind of prove it. But, I talked to them before the game the other night, and I asked them if they wanted me to do this thing alone and try to bring all the heart and the fire and everything, I would do it. But it works better when it's you guys are leading the team. And so they picked up the leadership this past week. They were emotionally ready. We had the rain delay. They came back out. It was a great job by our older guys to take over that locker room, and hopefully this team becomes their team, and it's not the coach's team. Talking
to Dave Cottle, head coach of the Chesapeake Bayhawks. They won Saturday in Annapolis 14-5 over Ohio. They are 3-0. They head to Boston for their first true road game of the season. Did you watch any of the NCAA first round action this weekend? Did you see any of it?
I saw a great deal of it, as a matter of fact.
Who impressed you?
Rob Pennell from Cornell. Yep. I thought he was absolutely outstanding. I thought that Carolina, when the ball hit the ground, that's probably the hardest I've ever seen a Carolina team play when the ball was on the ground. And I think they beat a good Lehigh team. It was kind of a blood and guts team, but Carolina was very impressive to me.
What about the Big Ten? We've seen certainly Northwestern on the girls' side. They've had some very good teams. Ohio State moving on to the second round. I think they get Cornell next. Do you see this becoming a much more significant sport in that league over the next decade?
Well, I do. And when you have Ohio State playing at a high level, that will infuriate Michigan. And Michigan, who just built their program, will start getting better. You've got Maryland moving into that league. You've got Penn State, who's was in the NCAA tournament. So there's 3 of those 4 teams were in the NCAA tournament. So already you've got a pretty good base for a successful conference.
Coach, thanks so much. Best of luck Saturday night in Boston.
Well, thank you so much, and have a good day.
Dave, thanks. Take care.
All right, Kevs.
All right, really appreciate it.